Hello, happy Tuesday. Although part of me is like, have you guys ever seen those TikToks where it's like, it's only fucking Tuesday, and it's just like, how dare you? Friday, it's not even Friday tomorrow or the day after tomorrow. It's just not right. Weeks are too long. A little late getting started tonight because I had to do 2 other streams for the Patreons this morning. I mean, not this morning, at 5 o'clock. And then I was listening to a podcast and it wasn't quite over. So I just wanted to finish before I got going. I did not write yesterday. I'm not ashamed of it. Mondays are stupid. Nobody should do them. The children were particularly evil yesterday. Their 7th graders are sent from another planet to destroy us, and right below them is their 6th grade brethren. I wrote up kids yesterday. I don't ever write up kids. And then the kids in SAC were really annoying because we're starting to put kids in. SAC is basically in-school suspension, lunch detentions, where we send kids with dress code violations. It's super fun. 3 kids in there for ripped jeans because God forbid the kids wear ripped jeans. Oh no, I saw your knees. Oh. 10 kids in detention for lunch. 5 of them were ISS in school, and 5 kids that were. It was just a fucking terrible day. And my 6th graders are just a lot right now. I'm looking forward to the end of this rotation. I don't know if the next rotation is gonna suck, but I'm just really tired of this one. All right. So I wrote this weekend. I did those sprints on the Patreon, mostly because I wasn't wearing makeup, and if I'm gonna put my face publicly on the internet, I need to have makeup on because my students might see this, and my students don't need to know what I look like after without makeup and my hair done. They don't. This is all a lie. I'm blonde eyebrows, blonde eyelashes. But I did write. Finally finished chapter 39, started chapter 40. The plan for today is to continue chapter 40, and I'm hopeful to finish chapters 41 and 42 this week. Fingers crossed. We have some deadlines for this first draft. I set 3 deadlines. I did a dream deadline, like, oh, if all things go well and there are puppies and rainbows and kittens in the world, and the children are all lovely and teaching is a calling, and, it's just, where you live in a dream, unrealistic fantasy world, that would be April 30th. A more softer deadline would be May 15th. And what I'd like to think of as a hard deadline would be May 31st. So 3 months, that's doable. I wrote the first draft of this in 6 weeks the last time when I wrote book 1. So I also developed a debilitating stress condition and panic disorder with anxiety as a result. But I think that was more about teaching. Yeah, pay your teachers more, people. I need money for therapy. All right. So without further ado, basically, we are going to get started. I'm going to turn on all my stuff. We're going to switch over to my Pomodoro. And I'll see you guys in 25. right. Hello. Oh, did I not mute myself at all that whole time? That's fantastic. I'm just professional here. It's fine. Hopefully I didn't blow my nose too much. Really sorry about that. Oh, I quit. I'm going home. That's what I say all day long at work. So I finished one scene, and then I'm about halfway through the second scene, which I'm actually pretty happy with. And it's just because these are two really basic scenes. It's an Oscar, Joss, and Trina scene, and then a Christina and Valerie scene. If you're like, I don't remember any of those characters, and it's like, I forgot to write a lot of Joss and Oscar in the first version. I don't think that Oscar was in the first 5 chapters at all, but just setting up some teen drama, which I'm really excited about because if you guys remember, the teens were my favorite stuff about book 1. I actually had to cut a lot of their stuff because I would let them just like ramble and like roast each other and just like go back and forth at each other. Like basically they have these conversations that I listen to my students have all the time. Stuff, especially when I was student teaching, because these guys are about the age of the kids I was student teaching with a few years ago. And then Christina and Valerie are a new addition to this plot draft, this plot sketch. They were not in the original version. I knew I wanted to do something with Christina and Molly, more Christina, because I think we can agree that Christina does not get the attention she deserves. And we did a decent subplot with Christina in the first book where she learned about her, Sam's affair with Rick, and it really kind of really messed Sam up for her sisters to learn about her. And I don't think it helped that that was happening at the same time all the Drew stuff was happening. And so Christina's kind of like dealing with that. And then we established that Valerie is a friend of hers. And I love the original Valerie. The sad thing is that when they recasted her with somebody who was fine, but didn't have quite the same charisma of the original Valerie, who is now on Young and the Restless, or she was on Young and the Restless. I can't tell you because I don't really pay attention to that. But the original Christina and Lexi Ainsworth, so Christina and the original Valerie had like chemistry together. And I don't know if I want to go anywhere with that necessarily just because I don't have the space for it, but I like the idea of Christina wanting to do something to stop Sam from ruining her life and ruining her niece's life, her niece and nephew, just the way that she sees Sam and Rick as ruining her lives growing up. So, and then they're just having a little subplot with Christina and Valerie trying to figure out what Sam's really up to. Just kind of give them something to do. And that way I get a little bit more to do with the Sam storyline and maybe having more scenes with Sam and Christina where Christina's like really pushing Sam like the stop, which like making her stop. So we get more of Sam's POV, more of Sam explaining herself. Because I think you can have your introspective scenes where Sam just thinks, but I think it's more realistic, especially because it's a soap opera, that you would have Sam talking to another person. And Sam doesn't have a lot of friends. I mean, that's just canonically true on the show. The only friends she has on the show are the ones the show is like created out of whole cloth. Like she was never close with to most people. I think Maxie is the only friend she's ever had, and Maxie and Sam are only friends because they hate Elizabeth. All right. So that's how many words did I end up writing? So let's find out. About a little over 1,000. So that's roughly about my usual for a sorry, I can't where did I put mine? There we are. That's usually how much I do for a scene anyway. So for 25 minutes. So that sounds real good. So we'll do another sprint. The plan is to finish this scene, and then I have a Robert and Curtis scene. And I don't anticipate that one being long, so I might dip into the Q scene with Tracy and Monica. We'll see. These middle scenes are not very long, which is good because right now the Jason Elizabeth scene at the end of the one is around it's about 1,800 words. And I just have like little plot things. I have the Christina and Valerie, which I'm about halfway through. I have a Robert and Curtis scene, and then I have Monica and Tracy, and then I have Valentine and Klein. So all of those are pretty short. So I actually do anticipate finishing this chapter tomorrow, which is nice because then, I'll start chapter 42 and we'll be clicking along, fingers crossed. And then, this weekend we'll do some more writing. I'm really happy. The only day out of 7, I've only missed one day so far. And if I'm going to miss a day, Monday's the day to miss because Mondays are terrible. Mondays are just like everybody hates a Monday. And although the kids have really chosen violence these last couple of weeks, and I'm not even like saying that facetiously. We have like kids are out because we had 2 fights, probably 3 fights yesterday that I'm aware of, and we had like 3 fights last week. We just have like a fight every day lately, and it's just really exhausting. So that's fun. All right, so my break's just about over. I'm gonna mute myself this time. so you don't have to hear me sneeze. Sorry about that. All right, I'll be back in 25. All right. We did it. I did exactly what I wanted to do tonight. I did all 3 scenes. I have 3 more scenes to go, which I will finish tomorrow because all 3 of them are relatively short. And then that'll be 1 chapter, 2 chapters down, which I'm pretty happy about. Um, it's always nice when you can find like more pieces of history to pull in, and that's been really fun to do with the Susan Moore stuff. Like, it's so crazy when I think about in book 1 that Susan Moore's murder was not on my radar at all. But as soon as I had Drew starting to look into his past, and then I look into, and it's like, and I'm just looking into what's going on at that point, like, because I know Scott's around, and I'd completely forgotten that Scott was married to Susan Moore at the time of her death. In fact, Scott embezzled Jason's trust fund, and it's just like, soaps, man, they're crazy. And like, does anybody remember that? Like, is that a thing? I think that was brought up, or maybe I'm the one that brings it up all the time. Ooh, I got comments. Hey, Ange. So I think it's always fun to kind of look up the thing. So when I remember looking it up at the time, and I looked up all the Susan Moore stuff, and I got some cool stuff to pull into, and I pulled that all into book 1, and I thought, well, that's really cool. Let's go back into the murder, right? And I found like that clip of Monica being just like so fucking cold to Jason, like, no, your bastard can't come live in this house with our son. Like, I'll leave you, and I don't care if he gets taken by the state. And I'm like, all right then. So like, that definitely gives you like weight where you think, yeah, she probably wouldn't have minded if Drew disappeared in the system. And I'm like, that would have been a really fun storyline to play with. And so when I was putting together stuff for, like, it always just made sense to me that Monica would have had someone to help. And I'm like, well, who else would have been sort of invested? And like, I knew stuff about Tracy's past, but because I knew that she was like really considered really ruthless. But like, I did not realize that she had her own history with Susan Moore. Kind of nice thing about the soaps is like, I don't understand why writers don't dive into this. So the thing about Tracy, when Tracy came to Port Charles, it was like the late 70s, and she had just divorced Larry Ashton, who would have been Ned's father, and she gets involved with Mitch Williams. Mitch Williams is a DA who prosecuted Laura for David Hamilton's murder back in the day, and he was running for state senate, and he got involved with Tracy. But he was also having an affair with Susan Moore, and he was like in love with Susan Moore. And Tracy and Mitch got married, and then that was Tracy's exit on the show. She left in 1980 to become, and they moved to Albany, but he was running for governor, but like, they never said whether or not he won. And they must have gotten divorced at some point, and Mitch just doesn't exist anymore. But like, that'd be a really cool thing to pull back. But like, the fact is that Tracy was like obsessed with keeping the Quartermain Trust Fund and ELQ stock for her son Ned. So she was really involved in AJ's paternity storyline back in the day. So pulling all that back and realizing that Tracy and Monica both kind of had this one piece of common ground where they are both like really, really protective over their kids' inheritance and didn't want a bastard son, so to speak, diving into it and like pulling back. And like, they referenced that actually when Drew came back, and they were trying to decide, well, should Drew wasn't a real Quartermain, and Monty's like, I'm not doing this again. We had this conversation back then, and like, Edward, like, no, of course Drew's a real Quartermain, because like, and that's a sense of how far she's come as a character. They've definitely built that character to be more warm and empathetic, I think, in lots of ways, although I know a lot of people solve their issues with Monica, and so do I. But I think, like, by and large, I really like Monica. I think they really softened her with the breast cancer storyline. But man, she and Monica Allen were like hell's on wheel back in the day. So I have 3 more scenes to write. I will write them tomorrow, but I'm pretty excited to be done for the night. And it's only 7:06, so I'm gonna go take a bubble bath and read a book. Have a good night, and I will see you guys tomorrow, probably around the same time. Thanks for joining. Bye.